You're listening to The Great and Secret Knowledge. I'm your host, Jeff, and with me once again, Sophia. Hello.
Good dog.
Alrighty. How do we start these things? How've the last 2 weeks been?
They have been good. I had a party yesterday. It was a mushroom party, but not like the fun ones.
Like you ate mushrooms?
Yeah, we had a potluck, and the theme was mushrooms. But the idea was there was like all kind of fun guy. So it was mushrooms. Someone had like kombucha, and then we had what else? Yeah, we had like different beer and wine because that's also made from yeast, basically. A kind of mushroom.
Is that what yeast is? It's a fungi?
Yeah, it is. It's like one, I think, I'm not sure what to call it in English, but like this kind of one cell organism, but it's similar to, or it's like the same as the, okay. So that was fun. We had all these different foods, and then I did a mushroom quiz, and then I also did a mushroom playlist, but I think it was only like 15 songs. So after a while I asked people like, do you want to keep listening to this? And one of my friends said, yeah, I feel like, some of the songs you kind of feel like, what is this?
I want to hear this playlist.
Yeah, I did tell him you can change the songs if you want to. It's not set. It's not a prison.
Did you have the Super Mario Brothers theme song?
Yes, I did. I had that one, and then I had some songs from The Last of Us. Yeah. But I think it was the Super Mario 64. I don't know if it seems like all those songs are pretty similar, but it was credited to the 64 theme. Oh yeah, I should have made all of them. Should have taken all of the different ones. I think those kind of songs are actually great to listen to if you're working or something, because there's such good background music. You kind of get a good flow from them.
I'll try that next time I write.
You'll only have the Super Mario song.
All right. Shall we approach Star Trek The Next Generation? Season 1, Episode 23, We'll Always Have Paris. What did you think? Overall thoughts?
I loved it.
Oh, good.
I was a little bit worried when you talked about how it was a romantic episode. I was like, I don't always like romance, but it was so funny, so that's why I was like, I love it. There was so much like awkwardness, like, what is happening? Much.
Oh my God. It's so funny because on Wicked Part 3 that we were recording yesterday, there was a moment where a character has to deal with their feelings for somebody who's in a relationship with somebody they respect. It was so awkward. And here again, oh, man. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been in that situation?
No, not really. I'm actually aromantic, so I've never been in love.
Okay, yeah. Well, lucky you. It sucks.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I hear from different aromantics, and some of them are kind of like, I want to be in love. It's called Cupid romantic, if you're like wanting to be in love and you can't. But for me, I always felt it's like, no, I don't want it. It seems very, to me, it seems like, I guess I'm a little bit like, romance repulsed. But I'm fine with it in fiction. But I wouldn't want, this kind of experience.
So it's something that comes up because I do role-playing games, and I have like a very romantic streak. So sometimes I'll have to check in with players. Like I've come across once or twice people that are aromantic or ace, and I'll be like, is this annoying them? Should I sometimes I'll text them. I'll be like, I can not do that if it's weird or whatever.
Yeah, it's good to check, but it can always be very different. Like some people are that it can be fun, to do it as like with everything, it's fun to do pretend like with different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of that comes through Star Trek. I love a good romance subplot.
Yeah. What about you then? Have you ever been like meeting your old crush and be like?
Yeah, I've had tons of annoying crushes for unavailable people. It's no fun.
But here they were a couple.
It's like a compulsion almost sometimes. What's that?
I mean, like here they were a couple at some point. So it's also almost more awkward, I feel like, because then it's like everybody... I assume they were a couple.
Yeah, usually I try to keep it under wraps how I feel about that person. Because it's like then it could get back to them and then it's doubly awkward. Whereas here, everybody was aware that they had a thing and that one of them had chosen to end it. God, that moment where Dr. Mannheim is like, take care of her. I was like, holy shit. Oh, God. Okay. That never happened to me. I think that's a rare thing. I don't know any dying ex-rivals. So let's get into it. Captain's log.
Captain's log, stardate 41697.9.
The captain's been giving himself a chance to... they're going to Serona something, I think 8, to do some shore leave. And so he's getting a little early, what do you call it? R&R. He's fencing with this lieutenant.
What's R&R?
That's military
recovery?
talk for rest and relaxation. But yeah, recovery, I think, is implied. Tough tour of duty or what have you.
So I'm not sure. Was this guy was a real guy? He was part of the program because he felt like the distortion.
Well, he called him lieutenant, which suggests that at least his character is a Starfleet member. But we never see him leave the holodeck, and we never see him again.
Yeah. But when I was watching, I was just assuming, like, oh, he's a real person. But just now, I was like, wait, maybe he was around. But I think that he was a real person. I think it makes sense, like the idea that they have such a huge crew. And I'm sure that they find all these different people who want to, do this very specific. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of sports would you do if you had a holodeck?
Basketball, probably.
Oh, you could probably do like different gravity and stuff on it, right?
It'd be especially useful if I had Star Trek medicine. So if like my knee blew out, they'd just run a light over it and I'd be fine. Because as you get older, like, you don't recover as quickly.
No.
Unless you take HGH or some, whatever crazy shit RFK is on.
When I was playing, I'm not sure what you call it, like floor hockey, something like that. And that one's really, it's really prone to injuries, I feel like. So I decided to quit doing it because it's like, no, I'm not gonna if I keep doing it, I'm gonna like twist my knees and stuff, and it's gonna be like too what would you call it? Like not hurtful, but too wearing out the body. So yeah, I agree. It would be nice to just be able to do like really exciting sports and then just go back and be like, fix a new knee for me, this one.
Yeah. I mean, a real ship's captain probably doesn't want to be doing a bunch of dangerous side activities. But I guess they'd have to do like combat skills training.
Yeah.
Although in the real Navy, I don't know how often a captain has to do that. But if they did dangerous stuff on their off time, they could get laid up and then be off duty for a while, which is annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine. That would not be useful. But do you think that the holodeck could maybe save you from injury? Like maybe it could make the floor like bouncy or something. So like if you're about to hit like wrong, it could just catch you.
Well, if it's got, right, Data said it's got force fields are a part of it. So it should be able to scan your knees and ankles and things. So when they start to twist the wrong way, all the tension would be taken away, right? And they'd land in some marshmallow foam or something.
That would be funny. But I wonder if that would make bad habits for you, because then when you're running around in a real planet, you're having bad, you're not having the right muscles to stabilize you.
Right, because you have to, in many ways to train, you have to like take risks. We see that a lot in the history of Star Trek, is people like going too far, turning the safeties off. There's a brilliant episode of Voyager where a character has PTSD and like is holding on to a lot of guilt, and she keeps going back to the holodeck and getting into more and more extreme situations. It's called Extreme Risk. It's very good.
About this shore leave, I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get the shore leave. I thought that maybe it would be about their shore leave and there would be some kind of encounter there. So I thought it would be fun if there was somehow an episode when they were not on duty. It was just a weird story separate from the ship.
Well, technically we did see one of those on Edo in Justice when Wesley fell into the flowers.
That's true. I guess it was partly, but I think it kind of became a regular episode after the shore leave had started. So I wanted it to be just like Picard being on the planet and just meeting this woman and being like, whatever.
You want a beach episode where like the stakes are low.
Maybe, or at least like I was interested. It's like, is this gonna be like a shore leave episode?
There is an episode or two in further seasons where Picard kind of meets a lady and they have a thing, and then adventure happens, or maybe the adventure happens and then they have a thing. I don't know. It's good. Archaeology plays a role. I think this guy's real because he's so sweaty after their first
but it's
pass.
Because it has to be sweaty so that Picard feel like, I really, like if he was just like not winded or anything, then he would not feel like he had given him a good game.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm getting too much into this guy, I don't know.
Also, the lieutenant apologizes as if like he's not sure if you're supposed to lose to the captain on purpose or something.
Yeah, that seems weird.
They take off their helmets between rounds. I don't know anything about fencing, so I thought that was interesting. Let's see. Picard throws him around, and then he's getting the upper hand, and then he does this weird little side move. Oh, my whole shit turned off. Oh, well. And then there's a weird time loop thing.
Oh, yeah. I also liked when he was, the whole line there when they were like like, which kind of move was that? And I was like, oh, that of a desperate man. I really liked the writing in this one. It was there was so many times I was like, ooh, nice line.
Yeah. The technique of a desperate man. And
and then the time loop.
Yeah, the weird time loop. Picard checks in with Riker. Turns out everyone else felt it as well. And then he just leaves his gear on the bench. And I was like, whoa. This must be holodeck rules. Like, or maybe Starfleet, like, you gotta go to the bridge now. So, but in the holodeck, it could be like, I don't know, a servant could put it away. But like, no, it can't be the holodeck, because why would you put your gear away in there? Because somebody's going to turn it off and then it'll be disintegrated or whatever. So he must be in a real gym.
So is it not? Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right. Maybe it wasn't the holodeck. There's no reason why they needed it. It seemed, because I think if they were in the holodeck, they would have had some kind of nice background, like they were fighting in some like 16th century palace or something.
Yeah, instead of having this like weird balcony that has nothing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Picard's dabbing down his sweat. But I think what they're doing here by having it in the actual gym with the sweat and everything, they're letting us know right up top, this isn't a perceptual effect. This is a real thing that everybody's sensing. Which I think immediately we're not like, was that holodeck business? You know, a glitch in the Matrix? It's definitely real.
Yeah, I thought that they were in the holodeck, and I thought at that point that this entire episode would be them trapped in the holodeck somehow, because I thought that was the start of it. But I think it makes sense, like you said, that they were actually just in normal.
I love that he goes onto the bridge in his fencing outfit.
Yeah.
Codpiece and everything. He's like, I'm going to show off the goods to my crew. Let's see here. Data says it's not an illusion. It happened in real time. And then they pick up a distress call from Pegos Minor, the Pegos Minor system. It's Dr. Paul Mannheim. And we see clearly that Picard is stunned to hear that name. He kind of keeps it chill, but Troy can tell, like, ooh, he's worked up. And he's like, let's go there immediately. He explains that the guy 15 years ago, I was wondering how much time had passed. He was doing some studies, and he took a team of scientists, went into space. Nobody ever heard from him again. Which is fucking weird. Can we like just acknowledge a Federation scientist going to, I assume, outside Federation space or like unexplored space anyway?
Yeah.
And they never check in?
Yeah, so you feel like, do you feel like it's weird that they didn't check in, or do you feel like it's weird that it's allowed for them to just leave and just go off grid?
Just the idea that, like, I assume prominent scientists, or at least highly skilled, vanish, and their family doesn't come looking for them. Like, they don't want to hear from their family. Like,
yeah, I agree. It seems
why
weird.
Is it
and
so
also
top
like
secret? Maybe it's so dangerous. Like if the bad guys got a hold of this tech, like if the Romulans or whoever, so they're gonna keep it like super secret until they have it proven.
Yeah, that could be. Maybe it was not secret for everyone, but they were just. And it would seem weird that they would just be off grid for all this time. That they would surely need some kind of like tools or something. I'm assuming they couldn't make everything themselves. This research station, they would need some kind of trade, I assume.
Yeah, how do they get their milk and sugar and butter? Like, I guess everything's replicated.
Yeah. Maybe they have. Maybe they can make everything with the replicator. They're like, oh, let's make this like antimatter with the replicator.
They must have taken some house plants or some like, for actual produce or flowers. But when we go down to the facility, like, it's nothing fancy. There's no decorations. Like, this woman isn't a scientist. What did she do all day?
Yeah.
She doesn't bring any knitting or like art supplies. What else would you do? I don't know, piano. She doesn't have a keyboard. That'd be funny if she transports with like a Casio keyboard.
Yeah, it's not like with the ship, with the Enterprise, they have at least the whole crew quarters. There's so many people there, so I assume you would have a lot of people that you could hang out with. But here it seems like it's just all the scientists and her. But I suppose maybe there were some other spouses that she could chill with.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Man. I wonder if that would change our perception of the thing. Because then it would mean that spouses died, right? If the scientists all died.
It must have been, right? It would be weird that she was the only one that came along, and then all the other ones were single, without any people.
Maybe they just happened to not have any partners when it was time to go dark.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe he picked a bunch of aromantic people to work on this project.
It's like, I am the only one that allowed to bring a partner. Or maybe they were all partners, like they just were like couples.
Remember in The Expanse, the DeWalt, like everybody's dating each other, or it's like a polycule?
Oh yeah, everybody was a polycule except these couple.
Yeah. So where was I? JL says, let's go there. He thinks Mannheim must have achieved some level of success. It'll be about 4 hours till they arrive. We learn that Mannheim was a well-respected time scientist. He put a team together. They all went off the grid. He's going to do something while they wait. But he doesn't say, I don't think. And Troy says, like, let's chat. And he's like, we can do it here. What? When your counselor walks up to you and says, like, we should chat, like, do you really want to, like, get into it in front of everyone? Very odd.
Yeah. I thought, I was going to say that this was, like, high ceiling moment. But I think that the reason that he was like, we can talk here is because he wanted to keep her more formal, like if she was in the office or something, she could have been like, tell me how you feel, and now he's just like, no, like he didn't want to talk in depth about it.
So by keeping her in her role, he gets to leave without ever saying anything embarrassing in front of the crew because she wouldn't press the issue.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's not that he is necessarily embarrassed for anyone to know. It's just that he doesn't want to talk about it with anyone. So he would rather just talk about it in the open with her than to have them talk one-on-one.
Yeah, she says he tends to suppress his issues, but unresolved strong emotion can affect judgment. Nobody else could say this shit to him.
Yeah, and I love, that she really plays a role there, because she brings it up and he's like, oh yeah, you're right, I should go and kind of work through this a little bit. So I think maybe that helped.
Yeah, look at this. When you include Troy in a storyline, she helps move the plot. Gosh, what would that be like? She suggests he analyze his feelings and put them into perspective. He returns to the gym, cleans up his gear, puts the sword away. And we cut to him getting into the turbo lift. with his uniform on. So he must have showered because 2 hours have passed. And he's like, you know what? I should relax. So he goes to the holodeck, summons up the Café des Artistes on a warm spring day. It's a nice mix of classic vibes and future architecture.
Yeah, but the Paris looked
friendly
very...
waiter.
Yeah, the
What's
Paris
that?
view looked very ugly.
I mean, it has 2 floating vehicles fly by the Eiffel Tower, but it has a huge, I don't know, railway tube or something going under it.
It's like super
It's like,
giant
why
structure,
would they
yeah.
do such a thing?
Have you seen Le Corbusier's plan for Paris? It's like this weird architect that people loved in the 1900s. He was this very prominent architect. He didn't make that many buildings, but he made some that are very famous. It was like this kind of, I don't know, it's a kind of a modernist style. And, I was an urban planner. I studied urban planning, so I'm having a hatred for him because he made this very, he was kind of influential in trying to bring this modern style and, rational style. But in reality, he actually hated public space, and he wanted everything just to be weird, transport areas, So everything should be different levels, cars on one level, pedestrian walkways, everything should just be kind of transport areas and corridors and stuff. And he made these really big plans, he wanted to tear down all of Paris and make this kind of super giant structures. They're just gonna be this modernist long things. Maybe I can share it and you can include it in the show notes.
That's fascinating. I mean, we've learned time and again that trying to elevate form over function, especially in public spaces, is just counterproductive and dangerous. They had to pull down all of Cabrini Green because the design of the tall towers and the courtyards and things increased public isolation and violence and all these negative effects purely because of the way people moved and interacted with each other.
Yeah. And it's weird because...
imagine no park or going on a walkway and it's say below where the cars are, so your eye lines are all blocked, not getting enough sunlight.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever level you're on, it's crazy.
Totally. And I think that, I don't know. I could go into this more, but maybe I'll make a separate episode at some point about
the landscape paintings of Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, totally. Maybe I will, in my recommendation, maybe I'll add some urban planning recommendation.
I love that. I do think the little vehicles fit in well, though. That's a nice effect.
Yeah, that was fine. I think if you would have seen normal Paris, but then with some floating cars, that would have been great. Maybe some blimps.
Yeah.
No, they don't have blimps.
Fringe.
They don't need them.
Yeah. He starts getting wistful about this old flame and how he stood her up. He overhears some young women talking about a guy, and the lady's sad because he stood her up.
Mm. So is this supposed to be her? Why she has a friend with her?
I think when he mentions missing or having stood someone up to the waiter, the computer took these 2 characters and altered their scene to play into I don't do this with AI, but there are people who are using it as a therapist, which is a terrible idea. Don't do it, people. Because it doesn't work with you. Well, maybe if it was designed specifically to do that, but it doesn't work with you and develop a relationship with you over time. It just kind of parrots stuff.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you what you want in the moment. So I could see that it's being talk about this.
Yeah, she wonders why he didn't come. He says maybe he had no choice. Maybe he was afraid. So he's telling on himself. But we only ever hear Picard get this real with Troy or a holodeck character.
Yeah. I didn't like her clothes. They were weird.
Yeah, future clothes are tricky. A lot of times they go with asymmetry. And it's like we wanted to show her cleavage, but also make it future-y. Very odd.
Yeah. I think maybe it would have been better if she had no sleeve. If it was just like one sleeve and the other one was gone. Because now the sleeve was down, and it's like, your sleeve has fallen down. Like, it's not, it looks like it's just by mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
but yeah,
a great
it is
point.
tricky because I'm sure that our fashion looks stupid. Like, if someone from previous, they would be like, what is that, you know? Where are your hats? Like, it looks weird.
Yeah, everybody wore hats in the past. I guess in the future they don't go back to them. They probably have like nano sunscreen or what have you. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about that. So he's musing about this non-person's fears might have been, and then he goes, enough of this self-indulgence. And I think that's when he's like, it's just chat GPT bullshit. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, but I really like this use of the holodeck, you know, as a storytelling device, because you could have had some kind of exposition where he talks to Troy or something, but it's so much more fun to be like, see him going into the past and to, you know, have a little bit of more of a atmosphere to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like decades later, he comes back for Picard, and he still does that kind of thing from time to time. I was thinking it must happen a lot. You start a program and then you get annoyed that everything's fake and won't actually help. At least for therapy purposes.
Yeah, that would be weird. You know, I wonder what would be the correct amount. Like, you don't want it to be too, I don't know. I feel like it could be useful in a sense, like let's say you wanted to journal. Like, it could be useful if the journal was like prompting, but you don't want it to prompt too much. Yeah, made me think about.
And every time you dictate like, and I remember Wednesday the 17th, and then it appears around you. Maybe as a supplement to regular therapy.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way with AI overall, that it could be a nice tool if it's made like in a very specific way and as to other things. But yeah, I would hate it. You know, imagine if you were like prompted to think about like different. It's not even that I would feel like it was bad times, but it's just like, if I think back on things, either I'm sad that I'm not there, or I'm like, I didn't like this time. You know, there's never been like, that's nice. I was like, no, it's not. Like, it's just the past. I don't like to reminisce.
Yeah, if I'm going to go to the past, I want to be able to change it. You know? Get some time travel adventure. Let's see. He arrives at the bridge. Another ship's captain went through the same loop farther away, which, if we know our Star Trek technology, that is scary as hell. The idea of a malfunction happening one place affecting someone light years away. I mean, it could damage the entire galaxy, right? Or beyond, who knows? The other captain called it a hiccup. And Jean-Luc Picard goes, hiccup?
Hiccup.
And then Data starts going into like, you know, what it might mean. And he goes, enough data.
Enough data.
Yeah, I think that's very fun because he thinks that Data has some kind of like, it's this kind of phenomenon. Phenomenon? I can't say it. Phenomenon.
Oh, the M comes before the second N?
Yeah. He thinks that he's commenting somehow on this, but then he's just commenting on the analogy. That's like, this is not correct.
I love that. It's also like a meta joke on like Star Trek. They tell you the facts, then they make an analogy. Something about time gravity experiments, and then Geordi says we're here, but there's nothing here. And this is where I felt like this is where the episode put in a little bit of padding. Like it adds a little color. You know, it more secrecy, but it also kind of wastes time. But we do learn that the relay signal sends them to the Vandor system, which is a binary system with a B-class giant and a pulsar.
What does a binary system mean? I don't know if I know it.
So that's two stars that I think they orbit each other. I can't imagine they just float fixed through space. And then I don't know how common it is for one of them to be a pulsar. Like a pulsar is real unique. It seems like it might, I don't know, I'm not a physicist, but it's very different from a normal star. It sends out these massive pulses that can send, I think, gamma rays like a long, long way. So maybe that's what's amplifying the effect of his time gravity experiment. So they arrive at Vandor for... Oh, I was wondering why he's so well hidden. We talked about that. So they say in orbit around two stars, it would be really weird gravitationally. Maybe that was just me saying that.
Yeah, I was thinking about it now when you talked about the binary star. See, I don't know if gravity would be that much of a problem, but it would be... I feel like it would be a problem with the heat, you know. It would oscillate, I'm assuming.
Right, yeah, I don't know the science on that. Could a planet survive going closer or farther away to one of those stars in the course of its orbit?
Good question. I feel
because that would make it unlivable, right? Like,
yeah.
It might even destroy the rock. I don't know.
Maybe if they have this kind of research facility, maybe they are protected so that they don't actually have anything like on the surface. So maybe in a sense it's kind of like a sign that they're in this binary system. But I would say probably that's not as thought out as that. I would say it's probably just like, oh, that's cool. There's two stars.
I mean, when we see it, it just looks like this tiny asteroid relative to the stars. But Star Trek always compresses space. You know? Like, if you're any point in space, like usually everything's tiny to the naked eye.
Enough data.
So we hear the guy on the surface. Picard doesn't say who he is. Oh, no, it's a woman's voice. But he's clearly surprised to hear her voice.
Yeah. Yeah, and he changes it in a moment. He says that he starts to introduce himself.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, you know, I don't know what difference that made, you know. Like, she found him right away, but maybe he wanted... No, I don't know. Doesn't really make sense. He could have said who he was.
Maybe he's in a hurry and he doesn't want to like be like, oh, Jean-Luc, this is weird. He just wants to get on with the mission.
Yeah, that could be that he feels like if he presents himself, it's like irrelevant to the situation. It would be thing maybe.
Yeah. She says there's only two of us left. They find that the force field won't allow beaming. So she shuts it down. He tells somebody to beam them to sickbay, and he rushes down there, and Data and Riker go with him.
Yeah, he was so excited. He was like clapping. Or something. Not in an applauding way, but he was just like clapping his hand together.
Yeah. In sickbay, a lady and a man arrive. The dude is seizing up. And this lady's outfit is pretty wild.
Yeah. We were talking about what she was doing when she was not, if he was the researcher. like really elaborate parties or something.
I mean, maybe they're all swingers, and so she like shows a little skin just for fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very odd. Although they're all dead, so I don't know why she's.
Yeah, she didn't seem that
Dressing up
upset
for-
about it. You know, she was just like, about them being dead. I mean, she was upset about her husband, but
Right. Yeah, this may just be the actor, or
yeah,
the director didn't want her to be too emotional. But yeah, that would be fucked up, losing all your colleagues to a
yeah. I mean, I
accident.
guess I wonder, do we know how soon this happened? I guess it could be like, I assume that they just died, but I guess it could be that they died earlier for something, and then he kept working or something. But I don't think that's what it was. And how did they all die? From this time distortion?
We never find out.
Yeah.
I have a theory,
Ah,
if you want to hear it.
Sure.
I think they were all shoved into another dimension. If not the same one, like all different ones, maybe.
so now they're all clones of each other in that dimension. They're going to be two people.
Unless they replace the original one
Yeah,
or
that could
displace
happen.
them into another dimension. Because we don't have two sets of Picard, Data, and Riker on the ship later.
No. True.
What did you think of Janice, the actor playing her?
She was not good acting, I think.
So, interestingly, she is Michelle Phillips, formerly of the Mamas and the Papas. They did California Dreamin'. Mother of China Phillips, who was in Wilson Phillips, the band. She would have been 42 or 43 at the time of this recording. I don't know how old Patrick Stewart is at the time, but it's not like too age inappropriate, which was nice. There's at least one episode where he's like getting into it with like a 20-year-old or something. So 23 years ago back in the real world, I was trying to figure out the ages. It was 23 years ago if we go by Earth ages. But they never specifically say how long ago it was that she left him. We only learn that she's been with, what's his name? She left with Mannheim 15 years ago. So there's like an 8-year gap that we don't
that's
know
true.
anything. Or longer, because they age slower due to Federation medicine. So even if they started out 13 years apart, like, who knows? The actress was working class, the daughter of a sailor and a bartender. When her mom died, they went to Mexico. She was super supportive of gays. So she got fired from the Mamas. What's that?
Oh, no, I you mean the actress?
Yeah, the actress. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great if Janice had all this backstory.
No, I was just a little bit confused if you were talking about her parents or her. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she got fired from the Mamas and Papas after she had an affair with somebody, and then she was reinstated.
What a lame group. You're not allowed to have an affair. So, I think it's one thing if you're like a politician, but if you're like an artist, I feel like that should be allowed.
It's because she was married to one of the bandmates.
Oh, okay.
John. So that's where she got her name, Phillips.
That's why you shouldn't work with your spouse, so that you're fired.
Well, certainly not a
misbehave.
business that you want to stay at afterwards.
No,
Like they did that with No Doubt,
Uh-huh.
Gwen Stefani and the other guy, I don't know his name, and Fleetwood Mac, Nick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks. I think they were together and then broke up. They stayed together for a long time, the band. Next, she married Dennis Hopper. She dated Warren Beatty. She called him the love of her life. Turns out she was a stoner. She was busted with weed in 1987, which was more or less when they made this episode. She was pro psychedelics, sex ed, and birth control for teens. She said that weed helped her quit cigarettes. Those were the salient facts that I thought. Oh, also she sang backup vocals on Belinda Carlisle's Heaven on Earth. I'm going to listen to that later.
Trivia.
So Picard's really moved when he sees her. It's clear she's totally sprung on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the way that this scene is made because, like, in some sense, I felt like it was, yeah. I wanted to say that it was a very funny scene, but I think that's maybe a little bit too mean to it. I think it was good, but it was also very, like, I think it's somehow like that it's a little bit, it plays a little bit on the tropes, and I guess maybe that was not intentional, I'm not sure. It could just be that we have seen this kind of things before, but it was fun that it's like this kind of pan flutes in the background, this kind of thing,
The
and
music
it made it
was
really funny.
The music was both intense, but also quirky and understated. It's a very weird mix. Those little synthesizers going like when they're clearly vibing. Let's see. He introduces Riker and Data. We get her name, Janice Mannheim.
Yeah, and I love Picard's greeting also. I just want to point that out, that his greeting is very funny. It's like this weird, I don't remember exactly how it is, but the tone is just like, it made me laugh also.
Hello.
I should have known. Who else would have charged to my rescue?
He just stares at her for the longest time into commercial.
Yeah.
He's being all business. So she tells him how the team was all killed. She doesn't know exactly what happened because she was in a panic room.
Yeah, and she was the only one that was in there. How rude of him. All the other ones were out. And they died.
Yeah, I think he needed them for the test.
Yeah, I suppose.
He should have had a panic room right off the lab so they could all run in there,
Yeah.
But I guess you don't know it failed until it fails.
And couldn't you run some things from the panic room? But maybe it's totally isolated from all kind of signals. Otherwise, maybe it would not work.
Make the whole lab the panic room.
Yeah, totally. Then they would only risk themselves, I'm sure. Yeah, and it's very concerning that at the end they're like returning to the station. And I'm like, okay, like, did you learn your lesson?
Completely
Are you gonna
alone.
split space again?
How is he's going to have to hire another team. Oh my God. We'll talk about that at the end. So, she doesn't know what happened. Paul never believed that time is immutable. He's into multiple dimensions. And the way they're talking about time, it's as if Star Trek has never done time travel. Is this our first time travel episode?
I didn't think of that, but didn't they have time travel in the previous show?
Yeah, they did it several times. All different methods. One time they flew to the center of the galaxy at warp 18 or something that they could never do now. Or another time in Wrath of Khan. No. Is it Wrath of Khan? No, it's Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. The one with the whales. They slingshot around the sun. And they can only do it because Spock's with them and he can make rapid micro calculations. Even faster than a computer for some reason. Yeah, there's all different ways. So they explain that the effect is being felt far away, like 1,000 light years, I think they say at one point. But yeah, they needed the dense gravity of the pulsar. Somehow it interacts with something on the planet.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Dr. Crusher looked really funny also when driving in this situation when they were meeting. I think that's before they
Yeah.
talked about the effect, and that also made me laugh.
Yeah, she's pretty envious of whatever's going on between the two of these two. Between these two. Let's see. So Mannheim didn't tell her what was happening or that it was dangerous, but he did start taking precautions with the force field, a new security system, the panic room.
I wonder if he told his colleagues. I guess they would have known if they were part of the experiments.
Yeah, I mean, they would have been like, hey, what's this room you're building? Why don't we work in there? Like, can I put my console in there? But he started becoming really obsessive about these other dimensions, opening a window. And then Crusher rolls in. Yeah, she's pretty envious.
Oh, that's when.
Jean-Luc
Okay.
Picard.
I
What's
thought
that?
it was before. No, I in my notes I had put it as if it was before. What about earlier?
I mean, we might have got a look. Now we get like the full expression. Jean-Luc wants to go down. Janice says you can't get in because of the security system. And Crusher says a nurse is going to run tests. And Janice kisses Jean-Luc on the cheek, which was interesting.
Yeah.
It was almost like she was marking her territory in front of Crusher. Very odd.
Yeah, at least something. I could see it being like... I think that... I mean, to be fair to her, she's in a weird situation, because she wants them to help. So I could see her being a little bit like... I don't know, maybe a little bit fawning, just to be like, I want to exert all of my effort to get everyone, to help us somehow, But we don't really know anything about her, so it's hard to say. I thought that maybe she would be have some kind of deception a little bit, just because she seemed.
Oh yeah,
kind of
outpost
off.
scientists' deception is like all de rigueur. So Crusher says Mannheim is dying. She's never seen this. He could die in 2 days. I don't know where she gets that figure, but I don't know. Maybe the computer extrapolates.
Yeah, probably.
Whatever effects that are happening. Data says the effects are being felt in the Illicom system, and they see themselves from seconds earlier before they got on the turbo lift. One of them says, maybe Data, that it's got to be... Oh, no, this is my thing. It's multidimensional because their actions don't change things. Like when they see each other, they aren't immediately changed by that.
That's true. And they're aware of when the time goes backward, or like these things like this happened. So they do react to the changes. And I thought it was a really fun effect, I think it's fun. It's not totally consistent how this time jumping works, but I think that was cool because it almost feels like, your brain can't really grasp it, and it makes this kind of weird experience of it, where it's like you see yourself and you feel this kind of deja vu.
Yeah, I like it when Trek gets weird. Like you can't pin it down. It kind of ups the threat level a bit if there's this powerful effect and you can't quite nail it down. There's a funny quote where Riker says, "If we are us," and Data goes, "Oh, we are us, sir, but they are also us. So indeed, we are both us at different points along the same time continuum." Up in the ready room, Riker and Data come in. They find out there's an energy source deep inside the planet, and its output is concentrated at the lab, somehow interacting with the pulsar. They want to get the doctor's notes from the planet, so Riker's going to do an away team. And Riker, Data, and Worf arrive at the transporter. There's a lot of arriving, and compared to modern television, There's less emphasis on getting around these days. You know what I mean? They cut to the chase a lot of times.
Oh yeah, I haven't thought about that. You mean that almost it's like a little bit like a play where you just start at the place and then people arrive like to the scene. Okay, now we're doing this.
Yeah, it can be play-like at times. Yeah. There's some transporter business. The beam, they can't get the beams squared away, so they all come back to the ship.
Yeah, and I thought it was fun that they made... First they're like, oh, we can't get them back. And then they get 2 of them back. And then you're like, oh no, Worf is gone. And then he appears. And it's like, there's not really any... Like, it doesn't add anything, but I think it's just to add it a little bit of tension. Like, oh, maybe he died. Like, no, he's fine.
Yeah, they're like, this story isn't about that, so we're not going to extend it through multiple scenes.
Yeah.
Like, if we thought Worf was dead for half the episode, that'd be pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. I don't know, maybe that could have been interesting, but maybe it would have been too distracting.
He pops into the transporter room at the very end of the episode, and he's looking around like, where is everyone?
I feel like that could be some kind of comedy version where somebody just turns up in the very end.
Yeah. Their comedy music was at like a 6. They could dial it up to 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So down in the facility, I said that. So Paul Mannheim wakes up. He doesn't even remember sending a distress signal.
Yeah.
So I think here the fear is like, is this another Mannheim? Are we in a mirror universe situation?
Ah, yeah.
Let's see. I think he says it was all worth it. It's changing again. I have been on the other side.
Yeah.
He says part of it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to comment on his acting, that he was acting very weird, but I think in his case it maybe was more intentional. Like the way that he was, I don't know, he was looking very distressed, but he was not moving, and that was kind of a weird combination. But I think that the idea was that he was like kind of immobilized and just being like, tense.
Yeah, he's very like measured and calm for having just woken up on a hospital bed, and part of him is in another dimension.
Yeah, I think, it's something about that I felt like he was not very measured, but he was more, it was like as only his eyes were able to move or something.
Yeah. He's got them wide open, those like wild eyes. He says part of himself is in another dimension. His mind is floating between them. Picard shows up, and he doesn't seem jealous of Janice and Dr. Mannheim. Or does he? I don't know. That was my impression.
I think... I'm not sure. I didn't really notice anything specific in this scene.
They seem grown up, these two guys. Like, they're not rivals, really.
Oh, yeah. That I agree with. I think that what you get most of in this whole episode is like awkwardness. It's not necessarily like, I think like Crusher said, it's like more her ghost than the actual present, you know. So it's more about like confronting these past things than about like, oh, I want to be with her now. I don't feel like he has any thoughts like that. Except that the Mannheim guy is like, take care of her. But I thought that was more for funny comedic thing.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, is Picard going to get what he wants for once? He says, I am having difficulty holding the moment. Data explains that he's an android, so he's fully aware of all the guy's research. They located this dynamic energy source and focused it. They opened a crack, a window into another dimension. This is where we learn that the range is at least several thousand light years, which is like the breadth of the entire Alpha Quadrant, I think. Or no. That's tens of thousands of light years. So I guess an order of magnitude less. But they need to shut down the experiment, so he plans to give them all the security codes. But he is really struggling. So they sedate him some more.
Did they sedate him? I thought that they were just probing him.
Maybe so. Oh, he gasps. He just kind of freezes, and Janice looks all worried. Oh, I think Crusher gives a head movement, which implies, like, get the hell out of here. I gotta deal with this guy. But she doesn't go, like, question time is over. So up in the conference room, the team's chatting. They have to predict the perfect time so they can fix close the window at the same time as one of the pulses. Picard says, reality as we perceive it may not be the same. And that got me so excited for like, oh, they go down there and there's like jungle trees or like, oh, there's a six-legged wolf, but no, it's the same.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty straightforward.
Janice shows up, so meeting clears out, and it's just Jean-Luc and Janice.
One thing I noticed...
She says, I knew you wouldn't...
Sorry, am I delayed? Maybe I need to bring my video down.
Oh, no, I'm just interrupting. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I was going to say that one thing that I noticed, is, and maybe this is the same room as always, but I was like, these chairs look really comfortable, compared to all, like... I don't know, I really like these chairs. Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be a nice meeting room.
Yeah, I got that nice headrest.
Yes, that was it.
So Janice shows up. It's just the two of them. She says, I knew you wouldn't come to me. We have unfinished business. And she asks why he dumped her. And he starts to tell her. And she's like, I don't want the truth. Tell me some lies. And they have a bit of badinage. She says it was raining and you couldn't find a cab.
Yeah.
And then she gets into the serious business. She said she waited all day, even went to Starfleet headquarters, but he'd already left. And he starts going into it. He said it was fear of seeing you, losing my resolve, fear of staying, losing myself, fear that neither of these choices was right, and that either would have... And he can't finish. When do we ever hear Picard like trail off?
Yeah, that's true.
She wondered about him a long time. And he says, each time that I returned to Earth, my thoughts were filled with you. She says, life with me would have somehow made you ordinary. And then he like smiles and chuckles. And again, like we never see this. He says, you're wonderful, and am I that transparent? Only to me.
You're wonderful. And am I that transparent?
Only to me.
Yeah.
Lovely. I mean, when you make your captain so remote from his crew, like you've got to, take advantage of a guest star.
Yeah.
For him to like open up.
It's fun to explore also this. I think that you could have easily just have him be kind of stoic and not really have it be any kind of plot or something. And I think that's fun that there's like, this is your weakness, and they get really into some, I guess it's not really a conflict because it doesn't hinder anything, but just the idea that he has to address. And I really like also this, idea that he was, I guess, something about what would drive people in this kind of society. And that I think that this kind of idea to excel, I'm sure that would be a really important one, because it's like this kind of post-scarcity society. You only have this kind of self-actualization. You're not. I assume that like most of the characters don't have this. They never had a problem like about being, without the basic necessities. So it's really gonna be like a lot of your content gonna be about like what is my true mission, or like what can I do like to be the best version of myself.
Well, and if you can transport anywhere on Earth at the drop of a hat, like exploration isn't really that interesting, I imagine. So for an explorer type personality, you have to make that choice. Like, am I going to be gone for weeks, months at a time, or am I going to stick around? I mean, I guess every sailor on the planet has to make those kind of decisions.
Yeah, but I think maybe this is more extreme than the current, or I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking nowadays people can just do video calls in different ways. And I assume you can't really talk to people across these really long distances. Or how far have we seen people like kind of have video calls?
It's a little fuzzy, but we get calls from Starfleet headquarters out to God knows thousands of light years away through subspace, which is like one of the magical things they come up with to get around the speed of light. So yeah, if they did more Zoom calls on this show, like people would have richer family lives or like friend groups and stuff, but they don't spend a lot of time on that.
Maybe, okay, my headcanon is that the subspace stuff is for the official channels, and they only have these beacons that are, don't have a lot of bandwidth. So you can't just be like, oh, let's have this like video chat. It's like, no, that's not what it's for.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know if they ever talk about the bandwidth, but that's another way to make it like the early days of exploration, where you'd have to have like a mail ship, or like the mail would only go if you rendezvous with somebody that's going back. But they came up with subspace. So theoretically, people on their off time are like hanging out with friends, playing, Jackbox or whatever.
Yeah.
Watching movies. Especially if both parties had a holodeck.
Oh, yeah.
They do that a lot in Picard, where like their video calls are just like in a spot.
Wow, that would be so awesome. I can imagine you could almost, I don't know. I guess it depends. Maybe you would feel the difference. Like even if you weren't touching, like maybe you would feel.
I mean, I imagine there's an ineffable somethingness when you're in actual proximity. But like you could do improv shows, like because there's a fake physical body there, so you could interact.
Yeah.
You play sports with somebody on a different planet. That'd be awesome.
Now I like the idea of someone is spending a lot of time hanging out with people in this holodeck, and then they get like depressed or something, and then they figure out that you actually need like the smell of other humans or something. Like if you don't have this, you don't get your actual bonding or something. It could be cool.
Let's get an episode with somebody that's like they've been trying to like keep their sex life going with a partner back home, and it's like, this is so weird. It doesn't feel like anything. Yeah,
that would be funny. Are there any like, because I feel like with the Star Trek it suffers some from being PG. Like, are there any shows that are like, I don't know how exactly to phrase it, but I'm thinking like it would be interesting to have some kind of sci-fi show that was a little bit more about human relationships, and trying to explore like what does it mean if we have like this advanced technology? What would that mean for people's like personal lives? Because I feel like they always
nothing's coming to mind at the moment.
I feel like they're always busy, with just like dealing with galaxy threats and stuff. And I don't know, I just feel like there's
Oh,
so
Doctor
many.
Who.
Ah,
The first season of Doctor Who, Rose Tyler goes off with the Doctor, and it affects her relationships with her mom and her ex-boyfriend.
mm,
And it's always really awkward when she goes back. They feel like she's just, it's a perfunctory visit, and like, and then she gets stuck back at home and she hates it. Like, it's a whole thing.
that's nice that they include this kind of thing. I think that sometimes you kind of don't really have that much of the personal effects, or yeah.
I think it requires, well, maybe not, but I think the example I'm thinking of, it requires a small cast, like one person going back and forth, rather than if everybody was doing it, you know, if Beverly was dating like guys on different planets, you know.
Yeah, they could be kind of unwieldy. But I think, I mean, what I feel like, I suppose, is that there are so many TV shows that are kind of like relationship focused. So I feel like you should be able to make something that is like about relationship drama, but it maybe has another setting, just so that's like you bring this kind of otherworldly setting, and then that informs, you know, how the stories are affected in some ways.
It sounds like Gilmore Girls in Space, or like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Like, now the next show that's coming out, I think next year, is Starfleet Academy. And so it's going to be a fixed location for the most part, except unless they do missions. So there'll be a lot more room for that kind of thing. We saw that in Deep Space Nine, which came out after this. It was the next series after this.
Oh, really?
Where they're mostly at the station, and so they get to do a lot more relationship stuff. A couple characters get married at one point. Pair off, boyfriend, girlfriend, that kind of stuff. There's even an episode about a sort of quasi-trans relationship. They never have the courage to go full, you know, queer with it, but it's interesting. There's a character that like half of her essential being is like this worm that lives inside them.
Oh.
That lives for way longer, and so when they die, like, it gets moved to another body.
Oh.
And they kind of, sometimes they're the other gender. Let's see. Crusher's studying the scans. She checks on Mannheim, and Troy comes in. She wanted to check in. Crusher's like, nothing seems to help, and Troy's like, I'm here to help you with your feelings. She says, I've got one of the wonders of the galaxy dying in my sick bay. Troy's like, come on, let's, you know, talk about this shit with Picard. And she's like, she may be in the here and now, but it's the ghost he sees. You mentioned that earlier, that it's, she can't compete with a ghost, I think she says.
Yeah.
And I forgot how really in love Crusher is.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit, for me, unestablished.
Yeah, I think they're trying to, like, I don't know if she decided to leave the show yet when they wrote this, or if this was like, oh, quick, stick this stuff in here because she won't be here next season. She eventually came back.
Yeah, that could be. And I think that it kind of works at this point because Troy knows her feelings. So I could see it being like, even if she has not really been clear about it, that, you know, either, you know, if they have sessions and stuff when she counts everyone, maybe she would be like, I can feel that you're in love with him. And she's like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything's obvious to her, emotion-wise.
So I think it works, even though for me it doesn't feel like it's so... but I guess also they might have mentioned it in some other, and I didn't. Which I didn't see, because I'd seen all of them.
In a way, because it was designed for syndication, that happens a lot, where like something isn't prepared really, but it's in this episode, you know? We just kind of have to take it on its own merits.
Yeah.
So next scene up on the bridge, Data says the next episode is 27 to 48 minutes away. This episode refuses to give us a ticking clock that makes sense, right? I think at one point it goes from 20 minutes down to like 1.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
And I don't know, like, later on Data is just like, oh, you have to count. Like, and I didn't know. Yeah, I was a little bit confused to why they needed an external clock at that point.
Maybe he thought his clock might get altered by the process, the window, whatever.
That makes sense, I suppose.
But it's weird that we leave sickbay for 30 seconds and then go back to sickbay as Picard comes in. Dr. Mannheim is up. He wanted to talk to Picard. He warns him about the security system. And then this is, when he asks Jean-Luc to take care of Janice for him.
If anything should go wrong, please take care of her for me.
And that made me laugh also, because it was so... I was like, before he said it, I was like, take care of my wife, you know. And then he says this, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it's that weird trope. I wonder what the origin of that trope is.
Oh, yeah. That
it can't be this.
No. I think that it should be like... I don't know. I wonder how common it would be, like... I'm trying to think of, like, if I'm reading, like, some kind of historical fiction or something, that they might have something where it's like... But usually it's like if someone has children. I don't feel like they would... Because if someone has children, maybe, like, the brother or something would be like, oh, I will marry his wife because, you know, they need to, like, someone needs to care for them and, like, I am family also or something. But then I don't feel like if it's only the wife, you know.
There was 1,000 years or so where, like... or longer really, where like the woman was kind of part of the property. So yeah, they'd find whatever way to like have a man there to protect her or control her or whatever.
Like you would need most of the time, like just for practical reasons, you would need a new husband. But I think only if you were, you know, or I mean, there's so many different, like, sometimes it was great for the woman to be widowed because she would have a little bit of her own, like, before she was married, she would be like, controlled by her father, and then she would be controlled by her husband. But sometimes if she was widowed, it would be like, oh, okay, you don't have a, like, minder now, so be nice. But I think in this time, she doesn't really need someone to take care of her. She could just go with them and, you know, live wherever.
Yeah, she could go knit or garden or whatever she's into anywhere.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have to live on the Enterprise.
No.
But I noticed the synthesizer was like really moving at this moment. He says, perhaps I am not a man who should have a woman like her. And to this, I was like what? We know nothing about her. What are her interests?
Yeah.
He says she deserves better.
Yeah, maybe just that she was loyal. Like, she stayed in this weird location. And he talked about how he would, if she left, he wouldn't even have noticed.
Oh, that's fucked up. But he clearly loves her. He just feels like he doesn't give her enough attention or something.
Yeah.
And Jean-Luc says, you underestimate her. I know because I once did.
Which I'm not sure in which way. Just that he didn't feel... Maybe he felt like if he went to meet her, she would have made him stay or something.
Yeah, I think he realizes that once she tells him that she thought about him for a long time, I think he thinks she could have been part of my life somehow. We could have made it work. But I was just too afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, some people aren't wired for long distance relationships. I don't know if I am or not. I've never tried.
I think it's probably a good... Like, I think that he made a good choice, but I don't know anything, like you said, about her. But, you know, if you're going away and you have this ambitions and stuff, you don't want to have like some, like usually if you go somewhere, you change also. Like if you're going somewhere and like, I'm gonna do this challenge and stuff, then it would be weird if you have someone that knows you from previous life. So I feel like they wouldn't really work.
Yeah, I've met at least one stand-up comic who got broken up with because they started getting more work and like traveling more. And it was hard on the spouse. So I could see that being a tension you just cut loose if you
Yeah, and I would say it takes a lot of emotional, like, or not, I don't know, just a lot of energy if you have all these like Zoom calls and you're like, oh, I miss you, I want to see you, and it's like, no, you should focus on your, you know, your, I don't know, what it's like. I'm not sure what was the situation at this time, like what specifically did he leave to do?
He was leaving the planet to go on his first starship.
Oh, it was his first. I wasn't sure about this. I thought maybe he was coming back to the planet. Because he said he had been back several times after, so.
Yeah, maybe it was his first posting that was going to be on long patrol.
Yeah.
Like maybe he'd just been close to the Earth. I was like, what's the planet called? Oh, jeez.
Because I guess what I felt when they talked about it, I felt like he had this kind of choice to make. Like, do I go there or do I stay here and be with her? And I think that it would be, I don't think that it would have been good to try to do both. I think that, you know, because you, like, if you go somewhere and like I said, it's supposed to be kind of demanding task, it can be kind of bad to have this extra strain, like with this long distance thing, where I think in a lot of ways it's gonna be a lot of it's gonna be negative in some ways.
So Data says the moments are previews of what will happen, or are happening, or did happen. I'm not sure. Jean-Luc sends him alone because he can control the effects of the time distortion. He doesn't want to risk the others who may not be able to handle it.
Yeah, and Data is just like, that makes sense because I am dispensable as a thing.
and Jean-Luc's like, no, you're indispensable.
Yeah, and I like that he doesn't have that much of a reaction. You know, he could have been like, that's not what I meant, you know, like being upset at him, and then he's just like kind of amused, like, no.
Yeah, he's used to Data by now. He's like, there's no point in being emotional with Data. So Data goes to the transporter. Geordi's there. For some reason, we see this scene. He arrives on the planet. He dodges a laser blast. He shoots the emitters and heads into the lab. What did you think of this architectural feature of the, like, force field bars widening?
I thought I kind of liked it. You know, it's always tricky, like, because in practice, I feel like in the future, everything would just be invisible. Like, there's no reason to have these glowing force fields, but that would not be fun. So I think it's nice. What did you think?
Well, I could tell that they're fluorescent bulb bars, like those long, skinny ones, with some kind of blue filter. And I assume they're affixed to some kind of plywood board on the other side of the wall that somebody's like pulling along a track or like, you know, something like that. And it only opens up wide enough for him because he's so skinny to like turn to one side and slide through.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was that supposed to mean. Like, it's just broken, or like why didn't it open properly?
Yeah, no explanation. I think just so there'd be something of visual interest in that part of the frame as he works on the console.
Yeah, I think that we talked about this a little bit before, that they bring all these small bumps. Like, there's so many of them where it's just like, you know, small things, like you said, like they come to the place for the hailing and it's not there, and then like later on, you know, when they have the teleportation, you don't really know if everyone makes it. And the same thing here was kind of like, oh, you know, the door opens but not quite, you know, maybe there's something there where it's supposed to like, I like it overall, but it's like maybe there's supposed to be a little bit more tension, like some small things are just not working properly.
Yeah, I just realized that there are things that humans would have had a real hard time with, but Data just smoothly moves from one to the next. I like the window effect, the weird thing in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Data gets to a console. He says next time effect will be in 1 minute and 30 seconds. He says some technobabble about plugging the hole. When the force fields align, the doorway to the other dimension will open, and then he'll drop some antimatter into the stream. So he does all that, and he becomes multiplied. He says, "Captain, there appear to be 3 of us." And they start moving towards the stream, and he's like, it's me in the middle here. Data 2.
Yeah, for some reason he knew that.
Yeah, there's some nice joined shots from one. Like, there's a couple Datas in the shot at one time. Oh, no, there's 3 at one point.
Yeah.
That's fun. He's acting against himself pretty well. So the stream is patched, maybe not closed entirely. Picard says that's fine. Back in sick bay, Dr. Mannheim is fine. He asks for Janice, and where was she that he couldn't see her? Like, standing just in Crusher's shadow, just right off screen. Boom, she's there.
Yeah, that's true. She wasn't outdoor.
But she is overjoyed. He says he's been to the other dimensions, and he's having trouble describing it. He says, the only words that fit are too pale because the images are so vibrant. There's another kind of life there. And the way he describes it reminded me of, there's a place called fluidic space that we learn about in Star Trek Voyager. There's a whole other species there that we can't really relate to. But he wants to keep working to honor the deaths of their colleagues. And this is something called the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you got your people killed. Maybe let it go.
That's true. I feel like he's making all the wrong choices here. You know, like he said, he's just like, oh, I got all the people killed, so we have to keep going. He's like, that's not the conclusion.
And he promises it will be different this time. Like, he's going to work less, spend more time with her. I don't know.
Yeah, she will be all alone.
Yeah, she says, you said my life would never be dull, and it never has been. And then they don't kiss on the lips. Weird choice, yeah?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it in the moment, but...
The only thing I can think of is that these 2 actors didn't like each other or had, like, terrible kissing chemistry.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of them hates kissing, and so they just decided not to do it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe they felt like if he was, like, from the... Like, maybe they felt like it would be the wrong vibe, like, just recovering. But that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, maybe. And I get every couple's different. Not everybody likes kissing.
Maybe they're very private. They're like, no, we'll do it later. And that's also funny. You know, I don't know if you're getting to that, but then when she says to Picard, like, we'll be going back, and his reply is so funny. Like, the one that he replies is like, I can see it.
He looked pissed in this moment.
Yeah.
Or disappointed, at least. So Troy shows Janice to the holodeck, And she is amazed. And I'm like, so she's never seen a holodeck before, which screws up my whole you could date through holodecks thing. Throws that out of the window.
Do you think that only the ships have holodecks? There's no reason that they're the only one that would have.
I thought theirs was just way more sophisticated.
Yeah.
But the way she reacts, it's like maybe not. Maybe all she's used to is AOL chat rooms. I don't know.
Probably. I wonder, you talked about how you could transport everywhere on the planet Earth. So maybe when she was on Earth, there was no reason to do like Earth stuff on the holodeck. And maybe when she went on this research station, her husband did not think to include this holodeck because he was too obsessed with this time-space thing. So probably they only have these like boring rooms.
Man, I do not want that life. So she says, this is so real. And then she says to Picard, don't tell me how you did it. I don't care. He pours some champagne. He says he wanted to say goodbye properly. And she says, I expect you to always come charging to my rescue. Thank you for Paris. It's time for her to go. She says, well, so much for my dramatically romantic exit. And then the arch appears. And he just kind of points.
Yeah.
To me, that was like, oh, I'm going to be businesslike so I don't cry. Something in that vein.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it was also funny that I think that's just for Dean, but she takes like one sip of the champagne and then she's like, bye, so I almost felt like she was also a bit like, no, I'm not going to do this. I will just say, like,
parties and dinners and things always end before it makes sense on TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have a sort of extraneous button on. Oh, go ahead.
No, I guess you could have, maybe it would have made more sense for them to kind of have this scene and then cut and then return when she was leaving. Something like maybe they had talked a little bit or something and then, okay, now I'm leaving. And so it felt a little bit strange to be like, oh, let's say goodbye. And that's like 1 second and then she's going.
Yeah. Although it does add the tension of like, well, there's not enough time for them to have sex. Like, how's this going to end? I don't know.
Oh, you mean like if they would have cut, maybe they had sex?
Well, right. If they're at dinner and they go to commercial and they come back and they're just wrapping up dinner, like it's not that exciting.
No, I guess so. If you think that it's gonna be something interesting, maybe it's better to just end the scene. Also, do you think that it's like, is it? How would you say it? Like, it's hard to know what the societal norms are in this time, but I would say like in the present US, that would not be allowed for someone to just go on like a weird champagne date with other guy.
Again, every relationship's different. I know when I found out a lady I was dating hung out with her ex-boyfriend without telling me ahead of time, that was awkward. I didn't get the chance to know what it would have been like if I hadn't been told ahead of time. So that was fun. Yeah, we assume that things have evolved in this area in Star Trek, but we don't get a lot of specifics. No,
we don't. But I think it's not like there could have been a lot of different things, and she could have like checked with her husband beforehand, is this okay with you? But I think that it's just interesting in the terms of like when it was taking place, like how did the writers feel about this? Is this fine, or this like, I don't know, it felt a little bit strange.
Maybe that's why they only have the one sip of champagne. Like in that time period, you can't spend a private hang with a married woman without it being super weird.
I think so. Maybe something like that. That it was just meant to be a little short scene. But I mean, if you were the husband, you would feel weird if he was like, oh, I'm gonna do this like holodeck thing about the time when we could have been together, and then we're like hanging out. Like this is.
That'd be funny if he walks in with his like hat and coat, and he looks around. Oh, this is nice. Wait a minute, this looks familiar.
Yeah, or he's like sitting
but like
down
in a normal
with them.
show, we would have ended there, right? At maximum drama. But for Star Trek, we have to come back on the bridge, set course for Serona 8 for shore leave. And Riker's excited to go to this club. And Troy's been there. So is Picard. He calls it the Blue Parrot Cafe. And he goes to Troy, "You're buying." And there's some cute comedy music.
I think I prefer that though, because I think that I guess it's like a way to bring it back to the present. To be like, okay, now the...
Yeah, this show is about the group rather than like the captain and his dalliances.
Yeah.
But it's funny that they end this dramatic episode on a little,
Yeah.
kooky flourish.
That's true. But yeah, overall, I really liked it, because I think that also what I like with this kind of episodes is that it's like a heightened kind of episode where it's like you have this this drama and like emotions that feel very like realistic and down to earth, but it's also like heightened a little bit by the everybody's feeling awkward, and it's kind of like humorous, and I really like this kind of combination.
Good. All right. Well, we've been waiting for many weeks to get to this point. Next week, episode 24, Conspiracy.
No.
This was the one I teased back when that admiral came on to test Picard.
He will be back, perhaps.
Yeah.
Do you think that it was meant to air like this? Because you talked about how it's not always aired in order. What if they were supposed to be like a two-parter, but they moved that one further back?
It's definitely possible. Yeah. I don't know much about the production side of things. I should look into that. Did they break up? Because I can see them going like, well, we're going for syndication, so we don't want the viewer to think they have to watch every week in order. But yeah, I love this episode too. Did you have a favorite moment or character?
Picard was my favorite because so much about him, and I think Patrick Stewart did a really great job with a lot of both the comedy and the serious scenes. But always my favorite is also Data. He's always very funny. There's so many moments when he's like being, like the ones that we talked about.
Yeah, I love that moment where there's three of them. That was so much fun.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh yeah, Data all the way. Like, of course, Patrick Stewart's brilliant. But yeah, I love me some Data. And I love Picard. Anytime Picard gets romantic, floats my boat. So yeah, next time we'll come back for the Conspiracy. It's so exciting. One of the all-time classic episodes.
No, don't hype it up too much. What if I dislike?
I mean, it's terrible. You'll hate it.
Okay.
All right. So people don't find you on the internet. So find us on Facebook, The Great and Secret Knowledge. Tell your friends about us. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you prefer to listen on YouTube, we're also over there. And you can find me on all the socials at El Jefe Tacoma. Listen to my other shows, Shattered Worlds RPG, and on Twitch and YouTube, Omniversal Escapades. And we're still doing movies over on the other side. We've got Wicked coming out, a 3-part series, maybe out by now, and gosh, what else we got going on? We're thinking about doing Mary Poppins or Everything Everywhere All at Once. So stay tuned for those. And we're still cutting up some Red Dwarf episodes. So yeah, stay tuned, listener. And we'll leave you with a quote.
What about recommendations, though?
Oh, God, yes, recommendations. Of course. We have some.
I think mine will be just from the topic of this episode. If anyone is interested in urban planning and this kind of stuff, and you don't even have to be like that knowledgeable about it, but there is a great book called The Death and Life of Great American Cities by Jane Jacobs. She was a journalist that lived in New York, and she did this book about like what makes for a like good city. And it was very interesting because it was written in this time of the modernist movement that was in many ways against cities and were trying to, make it like more of a suburb feel. And she was very much against this, and she was like describing, and it's very well written, and it's like, she was a journalist, so it's written for, just the public. But she talks like bad about the modernist movement and how their science was like almost like this kind of, pseudoscience and like rooted in any reality. So it's very entertaining and interesting. You can learn a lot about, she was very influential. She shaped a lot of the later on urban planning policies through this book.
That sounds great. Hell yeah. I just read and finished The Sapling Cage by Margaret Killjoy. It's a lovely story about a trans woman, or I guess girl, really. She's like 16 or something. She is taken off with this group of witches, and she gets embroiled in some of the politics of this area. It's not a kingdom. It's like a sort of loose federation of baronies and things. And there's evil magic users and knights. It's almost like a snapshot from the world of the Wheel of Time. It's not, but it has similar themes and plot elements. So I think everybody would enjoy it. And if you're not familiar with trans literature, it's probably a nice way to dip in and learn more about what it's like to be trans. And it was a beautiful book. So yes, now we need to pick a quote. Let's see. I expect you to always come charging to my rescue. Maybe something Picard says. Each time that I returned to Earth, my thoughts were filled with you.
I realized we shouldn't go into it, but we didn't talk about like the reference like of the Casablanca plot, because I assume what it's supposed to be and like how it's supposed to be this love triangle. I'm sure there's a lot of parallel if we look for them.
Shit. I've only seen Casablanca once, but yeah, I'm embarrassed that I didn't mention it because they say we'll always have Paris, right?
Yeah.
In that film. They will have that memory even though you're married or you're going to be married. I can't remember which.
Yeah. But it's such a cliche now that you don't even almost notice it when it's happening, because there's so many times where characters is like, we'll always have this place, and it's just a reference to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll put a nice little quote in here. Ooh, what about enough data? Or hiccup? We'll find something good. Thank you, Sophia. Have a wonderful evening. And next time we see each other, it'll be daylight savings time.
Then it will be winter. How sad.
Damn.
You will notice, like, I will be all winter mode. And I'll be like,
just constantly growling.
Yes.
All right. I'll see you later. I'll stop this thing.
You're wonderful. And am I that transparent?
Only to me.
A huge thanks to James Lark of jameslark.co.uk for providing our wonderful theme song. Thank you, James.